Interstage.
Ethan!
Drivers.
Well, the stage is set here in Dover AA. Jamie Mack and Denny Hamlin going to welcome us back as we get set to go dream the Xfinity Series, taking off the Monster Mile when we return.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's second live commentary stream on the channel. Today, though, in this stream, we're actually going to get to see the race cars on the racetrack for the first time, at least for our live commentary schedule, because practice and qualifying was washed out a little earlier for that coverage. We still continued with some NASCAR 08 at Dover, I should say specifically, in that event, and we will be finishing that at the end of the Xfinity Series race. But more importantly, right now, we've got the NASCAR Xfinity Series race to take care of. 200 laps, 200 miles are scheduled distance for today's race. 45 laps in each of the first two stages. Stage 3 will be 110 laps in length, and we'll go through the starting lineup as follows on our raw feed screen. Taylor Gray qualified on the pole earlier today, and although practice to qualifying had gotten washed out for the Cup Series, it did not for the Xfinity side. So again, Gray on the pole. Nick Sanchez will be starting on the front row in second. Sanchez with back-to-back top fives coming into this weekend. Connor Zilisch and Brandon Jones will line up in row number 2. Zilisch, of course, the most recent winner last week at Sonoma, 3 times a winner this season, tied for the most on the 2025 campaign. Ross Chastain is going to be running the 9 for Junior Motorsports today on the inside of row 3 is where he starts, and Eric Almirola returning back to the Xfinity Series. He is in the 19 for JGR. Justin Allgaier, William Sawalich in row number 4. Allgaier is my personal pick for the win today. One of the better drivers, if not the best, of the Xfinity Series field when it comes to the concrete ovals. He has won at Dover a couple of times in his NASCAR Xfinity Series career, though hasn't won here since 2020. We'll see if he can get to victory lane today. In row number 5 will be Harrison Burton and Jeb Burton, who are actually both the first driver inside the cut line and outside of the cut line for the playoff field. We'll take a look at that in a few more moments. Sheldon Creed, Jesse Love in row 6. Then row 7 will be Sam Mayer, Carson Kvapil. Austin Hill and Raja Carruth in row number 8. Carruth making his first Xfinity start since 2023. Sammy Smith and Matt DiBenedetto make up row 9. And row 10 will be Ryan Sieg and Dean Thompson. Jake Finch making his first career Xfinity start in the 17. HendrickCars.com Chevrolet. He's on the inside of row number 6, also making, row 11 on the inside lane, and also making his Xfinity Series debut will be LeVar Scott, the 45 for Alpha Prime Motorsports. Brennan Poole, also in an Alpha Prime car, will be on the inside of row 12, and Blaine Perkins, another Jordan Anderson Racing Chevrolet. In row 13 will be Leland Honeyman and Anthony Alfredo. Parker Retzlaff, Jeremy Clements in row 14. Josh Williams and Daniel Dye, a couple of colleague teammates in row 15. Christian Eckes, their teammate, starts just behind him on the inside of row 16, and Ryan Truex as well. Truex, the defending winner of not only this race last year, but also the year before that. He's trying to go for 3 Xfinity wins at Dover in a row, though those 2 wins were in Joe Gibbs Racing Equipment today in the Sam Hunt number 24 machine. Josh Bilicki, Ryan Ellis will be in row 17. Row 18 for Kyle Sieg, Kaz Grala. And row 19, Garrett Smithley, Nick Lights. And that rounds out our 38-car field for today's BetRivers 200 at Dover Motor Speedway. So again, thank you for everybody tuning in and those that stayed tuned in throughout the course of our live commentary stream for practice qualifying for the Cup Series. I know not the usual stream, but that is because the qualifying and practice got rained out, but still wanted to give you guys a couple hours of NASCAR content on the channel. Got the hiccups. I just got done eating like less than 60 seconds before I got going. So if I'm stumbling on my speech a little bit, I'm trying to pass that by. So I apologize for that. Michael Yeo, Andy, AJF, Billy Kramer, Bam Hall, Michael Turner, GTS Mart, 821, Dean Tate. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Our like goal today will be 100 likes for the NASCAR Xfinity Series race. We're at just over 20 already. Early going of the stream. Who will get to take home a miniature Miles the Monster? In my personal opinion, the coolest trophy in all of NASCAR. Get to slide in the race-winning die cast into the hand of the race car as well, or hand of the die cast itself. Watching from Southern Oregon. Greetings from the Pacific Northwest. You guys will be getting your race at Portland here in another month and a half or so. I think early September. Denny Hamlin is the guest commentator in the booth on the CW call with Adam Alexander and Jamie McMurray. So we'll get to hear his thoughts and opinions at various times throughout the course of today's race. And we will get this full distance in. There's no more rain in the forecast today. Whatever showers we did have at the track, obviously, were earlier on. Very hot, though. Very sticky. They're interviewing some drivers on the starting grid before the race started, and they were sweating already. Some of them didn't even have their fire suits on. It is hot. Jamie McMurray took off his sports jacket, and the white shirt underneath was just, it was just all sweat. It is hot at Dover here today, which is only going to make the driving conditions that much tougher for those inside of these hot race cars. They'll be slipping and sliding, and I'm sure that we will see a couple of incidences take place today as a result of these treacherous track conditions. Higher temperatures than we usually see at Dover. This race usually takes place in either early June or in even the most recent years in May. But this year in the middle of July. Muggy. Probably going to be the word of the day. Justin Besaw, thanks for tuning in. Chat poll has been up for about 45 minutes or so before the stream started. See how many votes we have right now. Looks like it's pretty close in the poll between two of the voting options. 32 votes have been casted so far, 38%. Now it's down to 36%, so it's even closer. Have Justin Allgaier for the race win. 33% have somebody other than Allgaier, Chastain, or Zilich. Zilich at 18%, 12% for Ross Chastain. Chastain is the only Cup Series regular in the field today. And that Junior Motorsports number 9 car has actually gone to victory lane 2 times in the last month and a half, with SVG winning 2 weeks ago in the Chicago Street Race for the Xfinity Series, and as well as Daniel Suarez in Mexico City. But that 9 car has not won on an oval yet this year. And we've seen Chastain wield the 9 car to a couple of good finishes this season in the Xfinity Series, but he has yet to win at this level. Only win in a Premier Series event this season, Nashville, for the Cup Series. Actually, sorry, the Coke 600. He won at Nashville a couple of years ago. Aiden Harvey 06, thanks for tuning in, saying Ross is not winning. I think Junior Motorsports is definitely going to be quick. He'll be a contender for sure. Justin Allgaier does start deep in the field. He did brush the wall in practice, so he did not qualify his race car. Or he did qualify the race car, excuse me, but having to make some unapproved adjustments following qualifying, so he is starting at the back. I don't think that's going to be any stress, even in a shorter 200-mile race today. That we know how good Justin Allgaier is at Dover, and Xfinity Series field, there aren't as many competitive cars from top to bottom compared to what you'd see in the Cup Series. So, although track position will be vital, Allgaier will have plenty of time to make a recovery run. Now we'll take a look at the point standings while we're waiting for the green flag to drop still. Teams are checking pit road times as of right now. Justin Allgaier comes in with a 59-point lead over Sam Mayer in the regular season title fight. Minus 64 is Austin Hill. Connor Zilich has clawed his way to minus 69. A lot tighter than what it was a few weeks ago. Allgaier had over a 100-point lead. That has bled down a bit with the road course races and Allgaier not having as great of runs there. But back to the oval side of things, we'll see if Justin can have a little bit better of a run today than what he's had in recent weeks. And as far as the playoff scenarios go, we do have 7 drivers locked into the Xfinity Series playoff field of the regulars that have a win. 12 will lock themselves in entirely, so 5 spots still open. The drivers with a win would be Justin Allgaier, Austin Hill, Connor Zilich, who each have 3 wins on the year, and then 1 apiece for Brandon Jones, Sammy Smith, Jesse Love, and Nick Sanchez. Sam Ayers plus 163 points above the cut line, plus 90 for Carson Kvapil, plus 54 for Sheldon Creed, Taylor Gray plus 22, and Jeb Burton has the final spot plus 16 over his cousin, Harrison Burton, who is minus 16 points. Ryan Sieg minus 50, minus 66 for Dean Thompson, and Christian Eckes on the bubble minus 81. Those four are the first four below the top 12 in points. Maybe a rookie will win again. We shall see. It's happened quite a bit in recent weeks. Connor Zilic last week at Sonoma. He also had a win at Pocono in the last month. Nick Sanchez a win at Atlanta 4 weeks ago. And on the poll today, a rookie who has not won yet this year, Taylor Gray. Gray led nearly 100 laps at Martinsville on a short track for the Xfinity Series earlier this season. We don't usually see this many shorter tracks in the Xfinity level than what we see in Cup and in the Truck Series. So there could be a potential advantage here for Taylor Gray. We'll have to see how he does. And of course, JGR's won the last 2 Dover Xfinity races, both with Ryan Truex behind the wheel. Those were in 2 different cars as well. One of the years was in the 19 car and the other one was in the 20. So see if the 54 can get it done today. These are still out on the pace car. There is some safety equipment on the front stretch. I'm not sure exactly what the holdup is here, but that's why we have not gone green yet. A couple of trucks that are on the front straightaway near the wall. I don't know if there's weepers that they're trying to... You know what? It actually might be leaking out from the safer barrier. Some standing water, perhaps. I know that that's happened in the past. Dover's got quite a bit of progressive banking even on the straightaways of this racetrack. It's pretty wild because you can see the difference in person, especially if you've been to other ovals before. That even by the eye, there's quite a bit of banking on both straightaways compared to what most tracks would have. See if they get one to go. Well, not going to get one to go this time. Yeah, there is an air tighten up by the wall on the outside of the track. So I'd assume that that's what's going on.
Challenges out on the racetrack, but when you're on pit road as well. Yeah, and because of how slow pit road speed is, maximizing the pit road speed percentage-wise, it's bigger here than a place like Daytona or Talladega. So guys tend to want to push it here. We have those 2 curves where you have a lot of opportunity to make mistakes. I was actually out, Adam and I, in the pace car earlier today, and pit road speed didn't look fast until we got to pit road speed. And all of a sudden, everything got narrow, and it's one of the more challenging pit roads we have on the series.
If it sounds like we're filling a little bit, it's because we are. There's a little bit of water. It had that rain shower that moved through. And so there's just a little bit of water on the track. They're trying to get dried out. Hopefully that will happen soon. In the meantime, here's Dylan.
And Adam, Kim kind of mentioned some of the small details, right, that can make a difference today between winning or losing this race. Another thing that we'll have to keep an eye on is the restarts. And a lot of talk today, and a lot of talk will happen today about the rubber pickup and the rubber that's getting laid down on the racetrack. And then when it gets picked back up under yellow, just how that changes the dynamics of these race cars. And I've heard a lot of crew chiefs on these pace laps reminding their drivers, make sure on these restarts that you get your tires cleaned off, because they'll go around here. Once rubber gets laid down, they'll drive around here and pick that rubber up, and it kind of gets clumpy on the tires, right? And it makes the tire not adhere to the surface exactly like you wanted it to. So that's something, too, that could make a difference later on in this race. If you don't get your tires cleaned up before the restart, you could be in trouble.
Danny, would you say worst track for that particular scenario?
Especially for the Xfinity guys they can't just come down and pit whenever they want. Okay, they have a limited amount of tires, so they're going to have to do the most restarts on older tires. So especially these young guys, hopefully they've got someone in their ear with experience saying, work your tires in. And you can really feel it at this racetrack. You're going to see, and I'm sure we're going to look at it, how this track will get darker as the run goes on. It will get wider as the caution laps start to click off. But it's important. That rubber's going somewhere, right? It's going on the surface of the tire, and you got to scrub to get it off.
The other story like today that was different last year than what we've seen historically here is which lane you choose if you're the leader. We're going to see Taylor Gray's on the bottom. typically you didn't want to be on the bottom. It would like stack everybody up. And the outside had the momentum. Last year we saw the bottom work just fine. I don't know what made that different, but Taylor's going to have a decision to make here in a little bit. Does he want to be on the bottom? Does he want to be on the top?
One of the storylines that's been at the forefront in the first part of the Xfinity Series season has been Junior Motorsports, all their success. Best qualifier for that group today, Connor Zilic starting third. We heard his story a minute ago from Dylan. Now here's their pep talk on the radio.
Yeah, we'll find ourselves. We're going to find it again. Thank you guys for we're doing good. We're just going to get back and keep me very good.
You know, I rewind to last week when he wins at Sonoma. And then 2 weeks ago when he and Shane Van Gisbergen went at it. And when you see how good Shane was in the Cup race on Sunday, and then you think about the fact that this 18-year-old kid was able to beat him on Saturday, and I know this. I realize SVG was very clean and friendly with him at the end of that race. But as you look at this average finish in the last 7 weeks, his ability to pick it up at tracks he's never been to or has limited experience has been remarkable.
His performance to experience might be one of the most impressive things I've seen in our sport for quite some time. I'm not understating that. I asked you guys before, it's like, so he's only run one season of ARCA, right? I mean, other than what he's run so far this year, he does not have a lot of oval experience, and yet he is competing at the top level here in the Xfinity Series, winning races, and he's the only one that's been able to slay the dragon that we know as SVG on road courses.
He's the template that a lot of driver development is going to use from here forward.
Teammate in the 9 today, Ross Chastain, here's their radio. Now, that was his report on the radio, and not sure exactly when he made that comment. You see a little moisture here, but the one to go has been given. Lights are out on the pace car. So, tiptoe, be careful, as if this place wasn't challenging enough.
It doesn't look as bad in the TV booth as it does in the car. I can assure you that.
It's going to affect them on the restarts, but on the straightaway, the car doesn't have a lot of load. It's not going to be a factor, except for possibly right here.
All rookie for.
Well, we'll see if that little bit of standing water is going to come into play. Not really standing water as much as it is just a damp area of the front stretch now. Green flag is in the air. We're underway at Dover, and the NASCAR Xfinity Series is racing. Taylor Gray jumps out with an easy lead through the first couple of corners, and he'll lead down the back straightaway on fellow rookie driver Nick Sanchez. Another rookie, Connor Zilic, underneath the Brandon Jones side-by-side for second. As well, tightly behind them is a side-by-side battle amongst Eric Almirola and Ross Chastain. Green racetrack after the rain that washed out practice and qualifying for the NASCAR Cup Series, so slightly different track conditions than the rubbered in track from ARCA action yesterday, based off of what these drivers were dealing with in the morning hours. Chastain had a big wiggle through turns 3 and 4, and he kind of maybe slightly nudged the left rear corner panel of Eric Almirola when jumping out of the throttle. Both cars hang on. Almirola won that battle for position. Chastain's car is still very loose as he works his way through turns 1 and 2. You can see the back end of the car wanting to come around on him. He's going to have to do what he can to just kind of hold off, settle in, keep the car underneath him as much as possible, because you get in a spin here at Dover, high probability you're not going to save it, especially with other cars on the racetrack. Here's a Burton hotly under pressure from the 00 of Sheldon Creed. Maybe got the 25 a little bit air loose out of turn 2. Everybody's going to be dealing with much different track conditions than what they were dealing with earlier. Track temps a lot higher than what they were in the morning as well. Sticky, high humidity, especially after that rain shower had gone through. Sure, most of us here that live in warm weather climates in this time of the year would know that it gets pretty sticky and muggy outside after a rain shower goes through in the middle of the summertime. That's what all these teams are going to be dealing with. No hotter spot than the seat that the drivers are sitting in their race cars. Mostly single file through the top portion of the field at the very least here. Taylor Gray has led the first 6 laps from the pole. And Nick Sanchez from the outside of row 1 is still in second place. Then you got Connor Zilic in third, Brandon Jones fourth, and Eric Almirola rounding out the top 5. All within 2 seconds of the race lead still. And a little over a second gap between first and third, 4/10 to the second place car of Sanchez, behind our race leader. Justin Allgaier, after having to start deep in the field, brushed the wall in practice earlier this morning. Qualified 7th, but ended up having to go to the rear of the field because of adjustments made to that race car. Poor qualifying effort for Ryan Truex, also starting deep in the field, outside the top 30, and both Truex and Allgaier are battling for position with one another. That battle's for 24th, and Allgaier will make the pass through turns 1 and 2. Justin almost halfway through the field from where he started the race already. Parker Retzlaff and Leland Honeyman, the next two in front of him, and they're right there. Slips to the inside on the front stretch underneath of the 4 of Retzlaff. William Sawalich coming off his first top 5 of the season last weekend at Sonoma, and his best race by far from start to finish of that event. Needs to get a little bit better on the ovals. Good qualifying effort for him, but we've seen that already this year. Now we'll see if he can put a full race together for the second consecutive week. Probably in a must-win situation to make the Xfinity Series playoff field, but momentum could go a long way. So maybe getting more opportunities to run up at the front of the field, and then you don't know after a while. Maybe he does have something for these guys. But he's outside the top 20 in points, and he did a great job again last week to rewrite some of the wrongs that he's done from the first half of the season. Jesse Love's been putting a lot of pressure on him to make a pass for 7. Love on the inside, going to work with that race car. You can see his hands moving around a ton on the bottom lane through 1 and 2. Couldn't hold a steady enough wheel to try to complete this pass. Now Love's getting right on the back bumper off the exit of turn 4 on Sawalich. So Love's getting a little bit impatient riding in line behind the 18. He's not holding him up too bad in the sense that there's nobody else behind Love. These two have a bit of a gap back to Jeb Burton, who is in 9th place behind him. Pretty tame start initially. They're showing the replay of the initial lap. Interested to see what the tire fall off is going to look like. We're probably going to see more fall off in stage 1 than any other stage later in the race, with this being a green track. Already seen about 0.8 of a second of fall off out of Taylor Gray, who's our race leader. His fastest lap on lap 3 is a 24.263. And the most recent lap he just ran was a 25.041. So almost 0.8 off of the fastest lap, but we're only working lap 16. Earl, thanks for tuning in. Taking Sanchez for the win. That's a bold pick. We'll see. We'll see. He's definitely improved. 3 straight top 5s the last 3 weeks. Though drafting oval and 2 road courses, very different from that of Dover, but he's off to a good start today. He had a good run at Rockingham earlier this season, which isn't a concrete track, but it's a track that has high mid-corner speeds, just a lot of grip for the most part. I know these guys are going to be slipping and sliding because of the hot sun, but it's still a track that rewards on throttle time. And by that, I mean the track holds up. There isn't going to be a ton of tire fall off, more than Rockingham, but the guys who are good on the short run are more than likely going to be good on the long run as well. Passes are going to be hard to come by, and Sanchez qualifying in second. Obviously, a good start to the weekend for him. Last several laps, Connor Zilic has been very sideways, both ends of the racetrack. Brandon Jones and Eric Almirola are working themselves closer to the back of the 88. Jones was looking like he was going to be in contention to try to make a pass, but then Jones slipped up the track, and his teammate Eric Almirola is now underneath him. And a battle for what is now for 4th. Jones holds on for the moment. Back Almirola took a brief moment to where he was on the inside of the 20. but couldn't stay alongside of him down the straightaway this time like he did a couple laps ago. Now both cars are starting to catch back up to Connor Zilisch again, which could be affecting the drivability of the 20 of Brandon Jones's car, which is why he's trying that slightly wider line to begin with. Now Jones is in the dirty air behind the 88, and this might allow for Almirola to clear. Zilisch ran the outside lane, or that wider line, at least through 3 and 4. And that groove's going to move up the longer the green flag run goes, and rubber gets laid down onto this green racetrack from the start. It'll get picked up a bit under the cautions. So it's going to be a green flag run to green flag run kind of a deal as to exactly how wide these guys are going to be able to push that line on both ends of the speedway.
And you have a new home with News Nation. See why News Nation is news for all Americans. To find News Nation on your screen, go to newsnationnow.com. NASCAR Xfinity Series are racing in Dover, Delaware. Top 2, a couple of rookies. Taylor Gray's led them all so far. Last time he led laps here, he went on to victory lane in an ARCA East race. So he has experience at this track and really was good here a season ago when he wasn't running full-time in Xfinity. He was top 5 when he was involved in a crash. Sanchez is second, about a half a second behind. And it continues to be Connor Zilisch in third. But Driver 88 has got a couple of impatient behind. And Brandon Jones is there. And Eric Almirola hanging around as well to complete the top 5.
The 88's balance looks extremely loose. He's searching around. The car that I have my eye on is Nick Sanchez. I've been watching him kind of work the highest lane, and he's made up a lot of ground on Taylor Gray. How many laps do you think he had to get where the balance really starts shifting?
He's got to be careful because chasing the gray, like we talked about, literally and figuratively, you can wear out your right front tire pretty quickly in this racetrack. The good part about it, and it is a short-term game. So if you know that you've got a caution coming, stage 1 here, it's not too long, 45 laps, you can use it. It's just you got to be really careful to not get to those corners too early.
Yeah, we get into the final stage, Adam, where you're going to have over 100 laps. Then you have to be a little cautious because you might have to do an entire fuel run. But hopefully by the time we get to that, the track is rubbered in and it won't be quite so much degradation on the tires.
Been a tough day for Nick Lights, 07, going a lap down. Didn't even make a qualifying run as they thought their race car earlier today throughout the practice session. Everyone able to get by. Saw a quick shot of Patrick Donahue when you guys were talking about Nick Sanchez. That rookie has been so impressive. Won the race at Atlanta, top 5 the last couple of weeks. And now the race in the back portion of the top 10. Creed is there in front of the Burtons, Jeb and Harrison. 9th, 10th, 11th.
Cannot get away from each other, huh? Qualified right next to each other. And I'm going to tell you, that's a big improvement for Harrison Burton. They unloaded. They were not good in practice today. You could see the frustration on his face. And you can't change that much on these cars after practice. But whatever they changed was a huge improvement because the 25 car was way off practice. They actually have pretty decent speed right now. They've been able to maintain where they started.
It's been rather impressive to me to see that team and how much better they've gotten year over year. Maybe one of the biggest gains that we've seen in the series.
They really have done an outstanding job. Just across the board with their personnel. As you see Eric Almirola get by, Brandon Jones has jumped around the 88 as well. So Connor Zilisch has fallen back to 5th in the running order.
I love the 19th line. Everyone else,
Brandon Jones, Nick Sanchez.
watch the 19 when they get down here to 3 and 4. Everybody else is kind of chasing that gray. Look how disciplined he is. Lifting a little bit early, as Denny mentioned. And then we call it kind of like squirting the gas or just giving a little bit of throttle through the middle. And you just want to try to get beside them is kind of your goal. And then drag race down the straightaway.
Yeah, you want to take away that preferred groove on the bottom. Right there where the 19's at, that is the fastest line around the racetrack as long as there's no traffic. So whoever can get to that line first is going to have the advantage. So like you said, try to get your nose in there. The great thing about the Xfinity cars is you can manipulate the car in front of you. The closer you get to someone's rear bumper in these cars, it takes the advantage away from them and actually puts it on your car.
See the 5 car there. Chris Wright's been driving that car throughout the season. Kaz Gralla driving it today. This is going to be the last race for Al Motorsports. They're shut down after today, though.
I had heard about that earlier in the week. That was the first they mentioned it at least on TV. Obviously, I didn't watch practice and qualifying earlier. I was at work when that was going on. As far as the race itself goes, we've got about 13 laps remaining in stage 1. Taylor Gray is out in front by about 1.4 seconds over his teammate Brandon Jones. JGR runs 1, 2, and 3 in the running order. 4th and 5th are Junior Motorsports Chevys of Connor Zilich and Ross Chastain. Almirola is the 3rd place car behind Brandon Jones, running quicker lap times than that of both of the 2 cars that are in front of him at the moment. Almirola had some good runs in the Cup Series days here at Dover. Almost won the 2018 fall race. Got in a wreck while battling for the race win on a late race restarts in that event, in which he led a lot of laps. Justin Allgaier, after starting deep in the field, is up to 13th. I'm not sure exactly the starting position he has. It says -6 positions from the start of the race, but that's because he qualified 7th, but he did drop to the rear for the start, as I mentioned already on stream. And he actually just made 2 passes the last lap, so now he's up to 11, as he got by both the Burtons, Jeb, and Harrison. Might be able to get some stage points before the end of stage 1. Should be able to, really. The pace he's running right now looks very fast. He's 8.1 seconds off the lead. He's about 6 to 7 tenths off of Sieg for 10th, with about 10 laps to go yet in the stage. Carl Nieswinger, thanks for tuning in. Got about 100 people watch right now. Greatly appreciate that, everybody. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. We're at 41. Yeah, 41 likes on the stream. As of right now, our goal is to get to 100. Movement in the top 3. Eric Almirola underneath of Brandon Jones for 2nd. They're side by side through turns 3 and 4. And Almirola is clear. 1 and 2, rather. They were side by side. That's where the pass was made. Hand out the window for the 19. Jones may be letting his teammate by late in the stage, so Eric Almirola up another spot. He's definitely got the pace to run down Taylor Gray in the closing laps of this opening stage. Almirola started 6th. Caution-free through the first 38 completed laps now in today's race. I'm honestly surprised considering it was a green racetrack to start things off, and this is an Xfinity Series race. A lot of young drivers, a few of which making their first career starts today, like LeVar Scott and Jake Finch. Rajah Caruth making his first start in a couple years in the Xfinity Series, also in the field. STL Mark, Tim Brown, welcome in. Your pick is Justin as well. Allgaier all over the back bumper of Sieg for 10th. There's a couple other spots that are also right there for the grab for both the 39 and the 7. Sheldon Creed kind of blocks the bottom on the 39 of Sieg. Sieg's got a massive run on him still. Almost got into the back of him. As his line widens out by the exit of turn 2, Justin Allgaier took a peek to the inside, held on for most of the way down the backstretch before kind of letting the 39 back in line to get into the corner in turn 3 and not have as awkward of an angle on entry on the inside. Connor Zilich has the fastest lap of the race in stage 1, 24.209, lap 3. Bonus point is awarded to the fastest lap of the race overall, so we'll monitor that. That's going to be tough to beat with it being a green racetrack off the very start. So these teams will be able to make adjustments for the first time when we get to the end of this stage in a few more laps. So maybe I'm wrong and that lap time could get taken down, but in my theory of thinking is that it's going to be pretty tough. No one has awoken Miles yet. Yep, so far. Allgaier now looking to make a pass on Jesse Love in the 2. He was able to get by both Ryan Sieg and Sheldon Creed for position a couple of laps ago off of the main camera. And the battle with Love is for 8th. Love, who was all over William Sawalich for a while at the beginning of this stage, is still behind him. Was not able to make a pass. He's actually lost the 18 just a bit. Pretty decent long longevity out of the 18 as Sawalich then to keep that track position and for a long time at that. Slide job for Allgaier through turns 1 and 2. Cleared on Jesse Love. Love will try the crossover in turns 1 and 2 to the bottom of the racetrack now, but knowing that his car is struggling at this point in the run. Allgaier working that wider line pretty well for himself. The dirt racing background that Justin Allgaier has, you would think that that's going to make him even better today at Dover than what he usually is here. Again, he's a two-time Dover winner in the Xfinity Series, but hotter track temps, maybe going to be able to take care of his tires a little bit more than a lot of these other drivers out here. And the fact he started as deep in the field as he did, and he's already up to 8th in Stage 1. Yeah, look out. Now he's getting track position. Still got a little bit of a ways to go, but he's made great progress already. Taylor Gray caught behind a lap car right now, currently trying to get by Josh Williams in the 11. Eric Almirola has gotten to within a half a second of the leader. Not a great corner exit to turn 2 for Gray. Williams is going to battle the leader hard because he wants to stay on the lead lap to the end of the stage. Almirola not racing for points in that 19 car. It's going to be interesting to see if he maybe backs off a bit and lets Taylor Gray get the playoff point. I would imagine he's probably not going to press hard here to try to put heavy pressure on Gray. Both drivers get by Williams through turns 1 and 2 on the final lap of the stage. And Almirola is still going to stay about 3 to 4 car lengths back into turns 3 and 4 one more time. So Taylor Gray will win Stage 1 here today at Dover. Eric Almirola 2nd, Brandon Jones 3rd, 1, 2, 3 for JGR. Connor Zilic 4th, Ross Chastain 5th, Nick Sanchez rounds out the top 6 spots. Justin Allgaier got to 7th as he passed Sawalich on the final lap of the stage. Sawalich ended up 8th. Jesse Love 9th. Sheldon Creed rounds out the top 10. Taylor Gray leads all 45 laps to start the race through Stage 1, and again, no caution so far. See how many stage wins Gray's got this year, because off the top of my head, I don't know. 2nd stage win of the season for Taylor Gray. I would imagine the first was probably at Martinsville, where he led a vast majority of his 136 laps on the season leading into this race. And he's not that many more laps led away now from 200. They're dominating the start from the pole. We'll take our first break of the stream. You're listening live on KRC to the NASCAR Xfinity Series BetRivers 200 at Dover. "71 votes have been casted by you guys so far, and our chat poll's pretty tight. It was amongst just 2 of them before the race started, but now there are 3 voting options, all within about 6% of each other. 8%, I gotta do my math right. Justin Allgaier leads the poll currently at 32% of the votes for who is most likely to win. Somebody other than Zilic, Chastain, or Allgaier is at 28%, which right now other leading the way. Top 3 spots, in fact. And Connor Zilic, who was 4th at the end of Stage 1, gets 25% of the votes. Chastain, who was 5th, at 15% of the votes. Allgaier was 7th again at the end of Stage 1. Pool of Michigan, well, it's hot in Dover. It was pretty cool here in Northwest Ohio, where I live, yesterday specifically. A little bit warmer today, but cool by all things considered for what it's been the last couple of weeks, and considering it's July. It's supposed to get really hot where I live next week, though. Yeah, I guess it's only for a couple days. I thought it was going to be a little worse. People were kind of hyping it up at work like it was going to be miserable, but 89 Wednesday. I'll tell you what, this summer is flying by, and I think it's because I've worked a lot of hours at my work so far this year. And I think that's just passing time by so quick, because I'm looking at the calendar right now, and I can't believe it's almost the end of July. Like, where did this summer go for me? Man, oh man. Here with you guys every weekend, obviously. These days are long, though. I've been up since about 4 o'clock this morning. So it's a long day. Dover sunset at 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, they'll get the race in plenty of time. Already through Stage 1, we still got a little bit less than 3 hours of daylight yet. Not a worry there. It's 81 where I live right now. I don't even think it broke 80 yesterday, though.
The NASCAR Xfinity Series is brought to you by Progressive. Save when you bundle home, auto, and motorcycle insurance. Visit progressive.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by Golden Corral. Golden Corral honors our nation's heroes. Taylor Gray wins stage 1 at Dover. Here's Carla Metz.
Well, you've seen him today at the ring this Tuesday on NXT North American Champion Ethan Page and Leslie NXT. Welcome WWE Hall of Famer The Undertaker to the show to deliver a special message. Don't miss all new WWE NXT Tuesday at 8/7 Central right here on the CW. And it's only fair that we bring him in for an interview right now. It's all ego. Ethan Page.
Oh, I thought they were going to interview The Undertaker.
You've got the belt here. What do you think of Dover so far?
So far, it's been great. It's been fast. It's been exciting. And I want to say something very nice about the Grand Marshal you guys had. Fantastic choice. I don't think you could have got a better Grand Marshal than All Ego Ethan Page.
How would you rate the command that you got?
Oh, 10 out of 10. I heard Matthew McConaughey did a good job, but today I merely took his crown as the grandest Grand Marshal.
All right, and Adam, he said he's really not used to wearing a shirt at the sporting events that he attends usually.
Well, Jamie about had to take his off earlier. Actually,
I
got so
love his
hot.
self-confidence. That was good.
I
could tell.
I was the most confident.
I think
I
you
think
did
I'm
your
the best.
money.
I mean, you just said I beat your favorite driver. You basically said I beat Matthew McConaughey. That's highly controversial.
It is.
If they got in the ring together, my money would be right there, though.
I'd take him as well.
Watch NXT on Tuesday night. Pit Road going to be open this time around. We know what a huge role it plays. Josh Williams did get the free pass. And this is a racetrack that averages 7 speeding penalties. So don't do something that can get you in trouble and hurt your track position that way. Drivers hitting Progressive Pit Road. Kim?
How about JJR 1, 2, 3 in that stage? Let's start with Taylor Gray, the stage winner. Said decent, trending free entry, then transitions tight through the exit. They'll take fresh tires, snow coat fuel, no major adjustments. How about Eric Almirola? Last time in the car, Atlanta 2, hasn't missed a beat. No major complaints, no adjustments for them either, Dylan.
Brandon Jones finished third in the stage in the 20 car. Fairly happy with his car. Said it was a little bit free on compression into the corner, but tight on throttle. Sounds like typical Dover. They'll change 4 tires at fuel and make a chassis adjustment on the 20.
You pick pits based on where you qualified last week. Some problems for Taylor Gray. Look at that. 23 seconds and change on the stop. Brandon Jones wins the race off Progressive Pit Road, +2 for Zilich. Almirola goes 1 in the wrong direction, and Gray doesn't even show up on the board. We'll follow up there.
Wow. Slow stop for the 54 of Taylor Gray, who led the first almost 50 laps of the race then up until those pit stops. So more on that when they come back from the commercial break to see exactly how he lost those positions. On our leaderboard, it has him in 15th. Went in as the leader. Might have been making some major adjustments to help him for the long run, but even still, they give up a lot of track position for me to believe that that was probably not the case. 49 laps led to start the day for Taylor Gray after winning stage 1 from the pole, but slow pit stop has him outside the top 10. Brandon Jones won the race out of the pits. He'll be the leader on the restart. Connor Zilich up a few spots to second. Great stop by the 88 team. And Justin Allgaier, who started at the rear of the field, is going to be up to 4th already. Kind of grumpy today. Matthew overexposed. You talk about Ethan Page there. I'm waiting for a lot of people not to know that he's a professional wrestler and he was staying in character the whole time, like during that interview, which I absolutely love as a pro wrestling fan. I wish they did that more, especially when they get introduced to new audiences that don't know who they are, because he's supposed to be a bad guy on TV, so he's kind of playing a cocky person there even during his interview, calling out Matthew McConaughey. His nickname is All Ego for a reason. That's all he is. He's all ego. As his nickname inclines. There's going to be fans out there that don't know he's a pro wrestler and also are not watching this stream either for me to inform you on that. And they're going to be like, wow, that guy's a prick. He's supposed to be. I'm having some issues, by the way, with my CW right now, and I think the Toledo area is getting hit by some major thunderstorms. It's not raining where I live at the moment, but I know there's some thunderstorms around us, and I think it's cutting my feed in and out. See if I can... Nope, not going to be able to do that. Tried logging off and logging back in again. Hopefully those storms miss me a little bit to the north. I'm hoping. Yeah, my feed's cutting in and out, so I apologize if I end up missing on any of the commentary. It'll say that the channel's temporarily unavailable, and then it'll like pop back in and then pop back out every so often.
It's time for stage 2, and the bad guys are taking over pit road to remind us that they're back in the baddest comedy of the summer. Don't miss the Bad Guys 2 in theaters August 1st. Quiet first stage. So the Whelen caution lights are on for the first time as we wrap this first stint of the race. Whelen, the official warning lights of NASCAR and America's most trusted manufacturer of emergency lights and sirens. That 20 team has been great this year on pit road, ranked #1 when you compare what they do on a week-to-week basis, and he's able to take advantage of his teammates' misfortune. Prior to the choose, Taylor Gray 15th. Let's revisit what happened to him after winning stage 1.
See right here when they drop this right side jack, that hose is, and he was driving it out.
Saw it.
The tire, he saw it. I will tell you that if I'm on the 54, if I have a radio, I'm going to become a psychiatrist right now. And I'm going to be like, it's okay. Take a deep breath. Let's not dig ourselves into a deeper hole we've got behind, but they've got a tremendous car.
Yeah.
Let's hear what the 54 had to say.
Back up there. That wasn't all the issue. Was there an inflator there? No, the changer hadn't shaped the car all the way, and so the hose drug underneath the tire. So when it dropped on the right side, his hose was underneath the steer. Your entry did not cause that. We just think it'll be improved next time.
Perfect information.
I was watching him when he pulled in. He did notice his pit box a little bit too late. Didn't turn in until late, which then that extends the cord out. He was a little to the right of his pit box.
All right. Brandon Jones elects the inside lane for the front row. That's interesting. Outside is usually more preferred here at Dover. That's what we saw Taylor Gray on the start do great work with. Jones on the inside and Connor Zilich is the car up high. Zilich in the preferred lane as the non-controlled car will have the lead up off of turn 2. I am astonished that Brandon Jones took the inside of row 1 there. That obviously costed him the lead. And Connor Zilich is now out in front for the first time today. Eric Almirola, Justin Allgaier battle for third. Almirola wins the battle for now. Those two cars right there, probably the two best based off of how the first stage played out, even though Almirola was second and Allgaier, was in 7th. But they look the best over the course of the long run. Dover usually wields to a lot of long runs, which obviously so far has been the case today. No cautions for incident. There were no yellows for incident last weekend at Sonoma for the Xfinity Series as well, so they have not had a caution since the Chicago Street Race, where there was 4 of them for incident that day, plus the 2 stages yielding 6 cautions that afternoon. Steve, thanks for tuning in the chat. I don't think I shouted you out yet. John Fleming as well. Brandon Jones just set the fastest lap of the race on lap 56, the last, not the last time by, but a few times by ago. 24.125 is now the fastest lap. So Zilich, who had the quickest on the first run, I was wrong about the track not getting quicker. Was my prediction early in the race with it being a green racetrack off the beginning. Got a little bit quicker. Fastest lap of the race overall actually picked up by about 0.8 of a second from where it was back in stage 1. Most of the field ran their fastest lap on lap 56, 58 for Ryan Sieg, 59 for Ross Chastain, lap 60 Austin Hill ran his fastest lap. The only drivers up in the front portion of the field did not run their fastest lap of the race. Taylor Gray, who's now buried in traffic in 11th, still has his fastest lap at lap 3. Another JGR Toyota Williams Sawalich in 7th still has his fastest lap at lap 3. So maybe not keeping up with the racetrack quite as well as some of the others in the field. So 60 laps complete, and following this restart, we've got Connor Zilic in the lead, Brandon Jones in 2nd, Eric Almirola 3rd, Justin Allgaier 4th, Jesse Love in 5th. 6th is Ryan Sieg, 7th for William Sawalich, Sheldon Creed 8th, Ross Chastain 9th, and Austin Hill rounds out our top 10. Long ways to go here today at Dover. In what is, relatively speaking, a pretty short race for the Xfinity Series.
When that, for a couple of those cautions fell out.
Toyota on board. Ryan Truex back in the series, trying to win 3 in a row at Dover and settled in behind Daniel Dial.
There's somebody battling for the top 5.
Look who it is,
Okay,
39.
Adam, it's not you or I, because I feel like Denny has taken Parker's role of, hey, I told you so. Right? Am I right?
No, I've known to say that a few times.
I beat your favorite driver. I outsmarted your favorite analyst. I mean, the hits, they just keep on coming from DH.
I'm pulling Sieg today. I want to see him get up there. I think everyone knows what a great story that is, and they need to have something go their way. I love it. Top 5.
Well, and if you look at some of the tracks we're going to, we got a drafting race left. I talked about Iowa where he was close, maybe Richmond. These are places where you feel like they can have success. So if you can get some momentum and confidence direction, it certainly can help.
A lot gets made about like showing all his second place finishes. Let's not forget, Ryan Sieg has had 5 of them. Yeah, he's right there in the hunt, especially at these super speedways.
And one of them, as close as you can get.
Yes.
Like, right? I mean, like, couldn't have been any closer than it was at Texas with Sam Mayer.
I've seen that replay approximately 1,000 times, and every time I'm like,
I think he's got him.
Sieg's going to get it this time, and he doesn't. If I've watched it 1,000, how many times has he watched it? 26 to go, stage 2. Zilic leads, Almirola, Jones, Allgaier, and our man Ryan Sieg completes the top 5.
Clean air might be the king for Connor Zilic. He's got about a 1.3 second gap to Eric Almirola in 2nd, but we saw Zilic fading a bit on the long run. He was holding up some cars at the end of the first stage. Fast pit stop, by the way, by his pit crew as well. Got him 3 positions. JGR swept the top 3 spots at the end of the first stage, so we'll see in the long run if they can continue to press forward. As of right now, Almirola, that last lap, actually did run a little bit quicker than Connor Zilic, so maybe this is the point in time where he starts to consistently chop away at that lead. Outside of a 1.3 second deficit to 2nd for Almirola, Brandon Jones is 2 seconds off the lead in 3rd, 2.9 seconds to Justin Allgaier in 4th, and then 3.7 seconds back, Ryan Sieg in 5th. Great top 5 performance for Sieg in the early going of the race. Be sure to hit the like button on the stream. Again, if you haven't yet, subscribe for more NASCAR content like this every NASCAR race weekend. Xfinity race coverage continues at Dover for the BetRivers 200 on KRC. Just a heads up, our diecast showing will be at the end of stage 2, and we will also end the chat poll at the end of stage 2, which would be lap 90, only 20 laps away from now. So if you haven't voted yet for who you think is going to win today's race, be sure to do so before that poll closes. Seven is fading time-wise, 25.15. Yeah, he's a little bit slower than the 3 cars ahead of him. That last lap. Actually, Ryan Sieg and Jesse Love, 5th and 6th, were a little bit quicker than Allgaier the last lap. See if that's a consistent thing or if that was just one lap specifically. Maybe he had a hiccup somewhere on the racetrack. Still waiting for the leaderboard to update on our end. Thought it would have by now. We glitching out? Oh, there we go. Now the lap time's updated. 25.2. Yeah, he's consistently 10 slower than those around him. Although Connor Zilic ran a 25.3 the last lap. That was the slowest of anybody in the top 5. Almirola's cut his deficit down to about a second now on Zilich. Quickest car on the racetrack the last lap was actually Ryan Sieg in 5th, 25.091. Ross Chastain nearly making contact with Sheldon Creed up off the exit of turn 2. Hanging on that left rear. Looks to the inside. Not going to be able to make a pass there yet. Now in turns 1 and 2, Chastain with the slide job. Clear. Creed, the over-under, will try a crossover down the backstretch as they cut to a cartoon. What is that, a dog on a... I don't know what that was. That was bad timing for that. We're about to see a crossover attempt. No idea if he ever made that pass. Under the commercial break, Eric Almirola was able to get by Brandon Jones for second, apparently. I mentioned in our leaderboard rundown that he was in second, 1.3 seconds off the lead when that commercial started. By the time it ended, he is still in second, but trimmed away a few tenths of a second from his deficit. The Bad Guys 2 is the movie that they just kind of showed up on screen. Was it a dog or a bat? Like, I don't know what it was. This is a giant animal with a cape. Irina Sayre, thanks for tuning in. Just got to keep the tires underneath you on the long run. We saw a lot of movement in the field in the first stage when we got into the back half of it. So curious to see if we end up getting more of that here at the end of the second stage. We've got about 14 laps to go yet in stage 2, excuse me. Chastain just moved up another spot on Sawalich up to 7th. Apparently there's rain looming, which I didn't think there was any more rain in the forecast for Dover. I swear, I checked the hour-by-hour forecast earlier today, and everything was clear after 3 o'clock when that rain went through earlier. So I apologize if I mention anything about there not being the potential of rain later. Looks like some pop-up showers, if anything, which probably has to do with how sticky and how humid it is at Dover that the commentators were mentioning on the pre-race before our stream went live. 12 laps to go yet in this stage this time by.
Coming, it does create a little sense of urgency to say, okay, maybe I'm willing to push it a little bit hard right now.
And I think it's a little bit different depending on where you are in the race. Like, we know that we have to get to the stage 2 break either way to make it official. If there's 80 laps left in the race and you have to run all those out, I think that changes it just a little bit. But you can feel that inside the car. It cools down. They start telling you that. You see that off in the distance sometimes.
What's Ryan Sieg today, Cam? We've been singing his praises up here. What's the report from their camp?
And then he good. The touchline in the last 3 races, when I talked with Matt Noyes before the race, kind of what strategy going in, being that they were 50 points out from the playoff picture, he said, we can't really make a decision on whether this takes win and get in or where we will be chasing. He said, the picture will be clear at Watkins Glen. He said, we need to get through Dover, we need to get through Indy, and then we need to get through Iowa, and that's when we'll know what direction we have to go. But right now, he said, we have to chase points, and we have to also put ourselves in position to pounce on a win when there's an opportunity.
They're in that tough spot. Came in 50 points below the cut line, and you talk about where they were entering. But right now, as they run on track, it's at 28. At 50, you're like, we probably need to win. You get inside of 30, you're like, man, those guys in front of us have an issue, and we're right there. So it is a tough spot to be in. I like playing the patience game before you start throwing the Hail Marys. 9 to go on the stage. Allgaier had that great run in the opening stint of the race. Good work on pit road. Leads in 4th, and here he is in 4th,
Yeah, it seems like he's up against a little stronger competition. I'll say that. But the further you get towards the front, the harder it's going to be to make passes. But, the advantage is always with the leader until they catch lap traffic. So I think his opportunity is going to be once Zilich starts pitching the tail end of the field like he is, that's when you can see the 7th start to creep in there.
Yeah, that was it. The tracks changed. His car might have been a little better. Like, Denny mentioned on a green track, it being looser, maybe his balance has gotten too tight as the rubbers were down.
Taylor Gray leads all those laps, wins the opening stage. 11th right now. They're starting to make up some ground, Kim.
That's right, but I gotta say, Denny was absolutely right. After he lost that track position due to the issue on pit road, Denny said he's gonna hate his car now. We can't play the radio because it is expletive laced. Now, this is the worst car he has ever driven.
Oh, that was a nice way to say it down there, Kim.
Go ahead. They said you can say anything once.
And Dylan will be working the final stage by himself on pit road today. It's funny that the driver's upset and maybe using some salty language because the chief is as quiet and kind as they come. Jason Ratcliffe, what a great one he is. One of the best to ever do it on the pit box.
But he knows they might have to adjust the balance of that car for the track position they have. But here's the thing: maybe they come in and they have a great pit stop here. They gain 4 or 5 spots. It's hard, that's why you run the entire race. Hopefully, this rain's going to stay away.
Looks like his car is loose.
I was going to say, did you see him driving that thing off the corner? Major dance for Gray. Stage 2. Opening stint of the race, dominated by the rookie Taylor Gray. In stage 2, it's another rookie. Connor Zilich impressive. Got the lead on the restart. Big jump in that outside lane. Been in control ever since.
Yeah, I think the track has come to them, or they did some really good adjustments on that first stop.
Probably a little bit of both.
45 here at LeVar Scott. Making his first ever start in the Xfinity Series and trying to stay on the lead lap. LeVar, great personality, running in the ARCA Menard Series. The rookie of the year there last year. It's great to see him with this opportunity for Alpha Prime.
Starting to see its trend with Eric Almirola's car. Seems like he's coming in at the end of these runs. That could definitely be an air pressure thing. It could be something where the setup is made for more rubber on the racetrack. There's a lot of different varying factors. But like I said, Alec Connor's starting to get in traffic himself. That is the equalizer to having fresh air. Fresh air, but everyone's going to run out front. When they're out front, nobody in front. But once you get in this band around this racetrack and everyone gets spread out evenly, you start to see who's the fast cars.
Yeah, we've had 2 45-lap stages. We're going to have 110 laps left. And I like the 19 cars' chances if this thing runs out at them like we've seen in the past.
Well, I mean, each stage, he just right there. It's the sweet spot at the end. Going to come up short again this time, though. Last time came up short to his teammate Taylor Gray. This time it's Connor Zilich who wins the stage. 88 gets it in stage 2. 4th stage victory of the season. And in a strike of irony, in a way, they've all come on ovals. Now, in fairness, he's usually going to flip the stage on the road courses, but a great effort for the rookie driver. So that's the end of stage 2. And it looks like we've got a hijack. The bad guys make...
No, and it's now they're showing a snake that just swallowed a tire. Animated, of course. Animated snake. That's why I'm not creeping out based off of what I explained to you guys during the stream earlier today. All right, Connor Zilich wins stage 2 here today at Dover. Eric Almirola 2nd, Brandon Jones 3rd, Justin Allgaier 4th, Ryan Sieg 5th, Ross Chastain up to 6th, Jesse Love 7th, Sheldon Creed 8th, William Sawalich 9th, and Austin Hill rounds out the top 10. I'll tell you what, man, Zilich can get it done any racetrack at this point. You win any given weekend, which I didn't really think was the case early in the season. It's amazing how quick he's turned the corner. At 329 laps led on the season coming into the day today, 2nd most, and he leads all the green flag laps in stage 2 after his crew got him 3 positions on pit road and a great job on the restart by Zilich getting by Brandon Jones. Jones took the inside lane for that initial restart, which almost kind of gave Zilich the advantage up high, despite not being the car that could launch first, with Jones being the leader under the caution. But Zilich got to the lead, and again, he led every green flag lap of that stage. 4th stage win of the year for Connor Zilich, and first of his career at Dover. Eric Almirola was 2nd in the stage, Brandon Jones 3rd, Justin Allgaier in 4th, and again, Ryan Sieg top 5. We'll end the chat poll now that we're at the end of stage 2. The race would become official if we did see any rain. 85 votes were casted in our chat poll. 31% of you took Justin Allgaier for the win today. He was my pick for the race win as well. 29% had somebody other than Allgaier, Zilich, or Chastain. Connor Zilich had 24% of the votes. Went up a little bit there in that second stage after he dominated. And then Ross Chastain, 14% of the votes. So pretty tight all the way around, but top 3 especially. So appreciate everybody voting. Again, 85 votes were casted for the first 2 stages of the race. 60 likes on the stream. Our goal is to get to 100. And we've still got one more stage to go here today at Dover. We'll take a quick break and we'll have the second pit stops of the race coming up shortly. Next week, yep, Brickyard 400 next weekend. On the oval, where it should be. Kyle Larson trying to go for 2 in a row.
CW Sports coverage of the NASCAR Xfinity Series is brought to you by Progressive. Save when you bundle home, motorcycle insurance. Visit Progressive.com. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Caution is out, ending stage 2. We're ready to line them up on the pit lane. Connor Zilich wins that second stint of the race. Eric Almirola second. How about this? Zilich was born 2 months after Almirola made his Xfinity debut at Richmond in May of 2006. I feel like that's mean to say, but it's the reality of what we're dealing with these days.
I don't think
Eric will
appreciate that.
Nah, he probably don't. Mention the fact caution is out. Only the second time today, both for stage ends. So the wheel and caution lights are on. Wheeling, the official warning lights of NASCAR and America's most trusted manufacturer of emergency lights and sirens. Jones ends up third, winner earlier this year at Darlington in stage 2. Allgaier, Ryan Sieg complete the top 5. Big stage points for Ryan Sieg. Chastain 6th, hasn't quite got his car dialed in. Love 7th, and that's about where he's run most of the day. Creed got points, good for him. Sawalich, top 10 in the stage, and the same for Austin Hill. Taylor Gray just missed out after winning stage 1, got back to 11th after the pit miscue. Christian Eckes having a nice day too. I had tempered my expectations for that group after practice, and it's a tough track, but he's up to 12th.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I was frankly very concerned. I looked at his lap times from practice. He was off quite a bit. Obviously, qualifying, they didn't qualify as well as they hoped. But yeah, great rebound. Now they find themselves in the top 15.
Harrison Burton, Jeb Burton, 15th and 21st. As we open Progressive Pit Road, Connor Zilich leading them down, Kim.
And Eric Almirola in that second position. He definitely needed a little bit more from his car. That run said he lost rear security. Can't lean on it. He said, I don't need much, maybe just a little right rear air pressure adjustment so I can open up my entry. He did note I can't stand to be any tighter. You see him hit that box there right at the top of your screen, so they will make a slight adjustment to give that rear stability to the 19 car, Dylan.
Brandon Jones gave really detailed feedback about his car and said it was better, but he is still battling a tight condition. That about 4 to 5 laps into the run. 4 tires, fuel, and air pressure adjustment. Connor Zilich said he fired off really well by the end. Needed more lateral on exit. He'll make an adjustment in tires and fuel on the 88.
Brandon Jones would agree that Connor Zilich fired off really well in stage 2. And now the race off Progressive Pit Road. It's Zilich in front of Jones. Allgaier gets a spot. Chastain +2. Almirola 3 in the wrong direction. Final stage coming up on CW.
All right, almost halfway through the race, just under an hour to get to this point. Connor Zilich wins the race off of pit road. He will be the leader on the upcoming restart. Kyle Sieg stayed out of the pits actually entirely there. So Sieg has scored as leader, maybe hoping that we get like a lightning delay or something of that nature, leads to rain and he can get a win. Could you imagine? Kyle Sieg stealing the win. Justin Haley, Summer Daytona style, 2019 for the Cup Series. I mean, why not? He was on the lead lap. I don't know where he was running exactly before the stage yellow. Only 2 cautions today for the stages. 31 cars are currently on the lead lap of the 38 that started, and every one of the 38 cars that started the race are still in the race and on the racetrack. Second stage win of the year for Taylor Gray in Stage 1, Connor Zilich. Fourth stage win of the year in Stage 2. Time for Stage 3. And again, a reminder that we will have the finish of the NASCAR 08 Dover race immediately finishing this race today. That will be on this stream. So if you're willing to stick around for about another half hour or so after the race is over, that's about all the race we have left on NASCAR 08. Got about 80 laps left at Dover, so I'd say about another half hour of that. My game has been paused for about 2 hours now. Well, about an hour. But yeah, almost 2 hours. We ended at 4 p.m. Eastern. That was our live commentary content during practice and qualifying since that got rained out earlier, so I will be finishing that race. I'm not going to leave it unfinished. We must finish the full 400-mile event. Kyle or Ryan? Well, Kyle Sieg is the one that stayed out, so he would be the one that would steal the win here. But Ryan Sieg looking quick. He was fifth at the end of the first stage. Lost a little bit of time in the pits. He's now 10th. 4 positions lost when you consider that Kyle Sieg stayed out entirely. I think if we get one to go, Sieg's going to pit. Well, I don't know. It's a short track at Dover. He might continue to stay out. Having issues with my CW again. Seems like this only happens when they're on commercial for me. Currently experiencing issues and are working to restore the channel to our viewers as soon as possible. Thanks for your patience. Hopefully they didn't restart it. Well, they didn't restart yet because still shows that they're under caution on our leaderboard. I don't know what's going on. I've got nothing. Try to turn it on my phone and see if I get better service there. Yeah, I don't know if it's because my local Toledo, Ohio area is getting hit with storms.
Expert on focus, 50-14, Taylor Gray starts on the pole. Looked unbelievable in Stage 1.
Yeah, went on, led every lap. It looked like Eric was going to run him down at the end, but you see right here, when they dropped the jack, the hose got stuck under the right rear. That changer was trying to get it out from underneath there right before they dropped the jack, but they fell back to 11th. Basically ran 11th that entire run right there. Taylor a little upset about how that car was. Hopefully, Crew Chief Jason Ratcliffe can get that tuned up. You got more, Kim?
Stop about on the 19. A little bit of a slow stop for him. No issues like on the 54, but here was Eric's radio after the stops.
Come on, guys. We can win this race. Give me one more good one. Okay? Give me one good one.
All right. Break them down to build them up, right? So that's the radio from Team 19. Speeding on the pit lane for Sammy Smith. Uncontrolled tire for the poor Parker Retzlaff. Equipment interference for Jeremy Clements. And the 9 of Ross Chastain came back down pit road. Got a report they had a lug nut issue. So he's going to have a lot of ground to make up.
I greatly appreciate the begging from Eric Almirola versus the dog cussing that we sometimes see.
Yeah.
I think that'll get you further than the opposites.
Kyle Sieg
101 laps to go, and Kyle Sieg is on the inside of row 1 for the restart. He's going to spin his tires right in front of that whole inside line. A little bit of contact. Couple cars jump out 3 wide. Justin Allgaier was the first car that was underneath him. And Sieg is going backwards in a hurry. Hopefully the field is able to get around him without any major issues. Good luck to Kyle Sieg. I would not want to be behind the wheel of that 28 car right now. Now he's up on the high lane, at least trying to stay out of the way as much as possible. Things going to get a little bit tighter by corner exit up there, but stayed out maybe hoping for the rain, I would assume. He does have an extra set of tires by doing what he's doing as well, but say for the most part, everybody's still going to have a couple sets left to the finish anyway. But now he's got even one more than them if we were to see quite a few cautions. Brandon Jones just set the fastest lap of the race, 23.943. The only two drivers to run a sub 24-second lap time today are Jones and then Zilich. Same lap 101. Zilich ran about 100th of a second slower than that of Jones in second. Great job by the 88 pit crew to win the 88 team the race off of pit road, both at the end of stage 1 pit stops and stage 2 pit stops. Zilich has done a great job behind the wheel to keep himself out there in the clean air for the moment as well. We'll see if he can continue his pace up at the front of the field. Still got some showers that are popping up in the Dover area. As far as the lightning side of things go, it has to be within 8 miles of the racetrack, radius-wise. And I say that because it looks like there's some heavier thunder showers that are starting to pop up in the area, kind of like we had earlier today. It does look like there's some drops on the lenses on certain cameras that the CW is using in their show of the battle up at the front of the field between Jones and Zilich. But I also don't know if that might have been from earlier today as well, and I'm just not realizing it until just this moment, because we are starting to talk about rain a little bit more. See rain on the camera? Yeah, I see that too. I just don't know if that's like live drops or if that might have been from earlier and there's like one camera specifically that didn't get cleaned off properly. If I start to see that on more than just one camera, then I'll believe it a little bit more. 93 laps to go at the start-finish line this time by. Almirola picked up 3 positions on the restart, went from 6th to 3rd. I would say he is going to be the driver to beat in this final stage by the eye test of who looked like they had the faster car, not only in stage 1, but stage 2 as well. Ross Chastain is on pit road for an unscheduled stop.
Shane Van Gisbergen, Daniel Suarez. I mean, it's been a who's who behind the wheel. They've all been outstanding, but today having some problem. Bad vibration. He's in front of you, Dylan.
Yeah, this may be a terminal problem. A drive shaft or rear end issue is the report from the driver of the 9, Ross Chastain. So he is looking into the race car, but this will probably march in for the 9, Ken.
Yeah, local issue. Then Sanchez, he said something broke, said maybe the power steering, but only enough on me. You see Sanchez on pit road right now.
Wow.
We always talk.
Simultaneously having issues between the 48 of Sanchez, the 9 of Ross Chastain. Chastain done for the day. Power steering issues for the 48 of Sanchez. Same lap, they both pulled into the pits. Both scored 4 laps down, 37th and 38th. Last of those that started the race. Tracking the lap times between those top 2 spots, Brandon Jones about 900ths of a second quicker than the race leader Zilich the last time by. 89 laps to go this time by when they do eventually get to the start-finish line. We'll go through the full field running order while CW is taking a side-by-side commercial break. Zilich is the leader. Brandon Jones in second, as I mentioned, 0.6 back of the leader. Eric Almirola 1.8 seconds off the lead in third. Justin Allgaier 2.3 seconds off the lead in fourth. Fifth is Jesse Love. Ryan Sieg 6th. Taylor Gray 7th. Sheldon Creed 8th. William Sawalch 9th. And Christian Eckes rounds out the top 10. Great start for him after he was 31st, I believe, at the start of the race. Austin Hill 11th. 12th for Harrison Burton. Matt DiBenedetto 13th. Sam Mayer 14th. Dean Thompson 15th. Carson Quapple 16th. Ryan Truex 17th. 18th for Jake Finch. Daniel Dye 19th and Raja Carew 20th. Jeb Burton 21st. Brennan Poole 22nd. Josh Williams 23rd. Parker Retzlaff 24th. Anthony Alfredo 25th. Sammy Smith, 26th. Jeremy Clements, 27th. LeVar Scott, 28th. Kyle Sieg, 29th. He is the last car in the lead lap. He stayed out of the pits during that last caution, and he'll probably end up going a lap down here before long. Bolton 48 and the 9 are back out on the racetrack, but slow on the back straightaway, and I think they're both coming into the pits. So weird that they have separate issues for one another, but at the same exact time, then they get their cars fixed. They might be racing for 37th is what they're doing right now. They're trying to beat the other one for one more lap. It's one more point for Sanchez as he pulls into the garage. All right, where did I leave off? 30th, Leland Honeyman in the running order. Ryan Ellis, 31st. Kaz Gralla, 32nd. Blaine Perkins, 33rd. Nick Lights, 34th. Garrett Smithley, 35th. 36th, Josh Balicki. Nick Sanchez, 37th. Ross Chastain, 38th. And that rounds out our running order. Early in Stage 3, 85 laps to go here for the NASCAR Xfinity Series BetRivers 300 at Dover. Never felt it's a win, 100% a win when a race gets rained out or cut short. Yeah, I guess it depends on the circumstance of it. I mean, especially nowadays where weather tracking is a lot easier than what it would have been. You know, maybe more so back in the day if races were to get rain short. I mean, a lot of these teams are well aware that the rain is coming, so they try to strategize off of that as much as they can. I mean, you look at the event of Connor Zilic leading as many laps as he has, too. You can't say he wouldn't be a deserving winner of the race. He's led the most laps so far, 62 laps led. So if it were to let loose right now with a thunderstorm, he's done a great job all day long.
Connor Zilic, these restarts, he's been outstanding today, and that's what's got him the track position he needs to be dominating this race.
Yeah, it gets a great run off the top here. The top is really where you want to be. And especially in these Xfinity cars, and obviously had a big advantage there with Kyle Sieg staying out. He's, looking at the lap time, Brandon Jones is just right there. He needs him to hit a little traffic so he can close this lead in.
Check out more clean getaways, close calls, and non-stop action for the Bad Guys 2 hits theaters on August 1st. Get your tickets now. With Jamie McMurray, Denny Hamlin, I'm Adam Alexander. Happy you're along for the ride on a Saturday afternoon in Dover, Delaware. It's round 20 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Connor Zilic is leading this thing, and you saw it side by side. The 9 of Ross Chastain, 48, and Nick Sanchez went to the garage. Wanted to pay off for Sanchez. He's having, and Kim talked about this major steering issues. I hate it for him because he got that first career win and then backed it up with 2 top 5s in a row, qualified great today. This team has been really impressive lately.
Absolutely.
What about this guy on the right-hand side, Connor Zilic? We talked about his average finish over the last 7 races being just over 2. His average running position today, just over 2. A rookie in the series.
I think he's starting to figure it out, Jake.
You know what? I think he's going to make it, guys. It's been so impressive at all these different type racetracks that we've went to, and it's not just what Connor does on the racetrack. I feel like, Denny, when you listen to an interview, you would think he was 30 years old. He sounds so mature when things don't go well. Like with the Shane Van Gisbergen at Chicago, I know what he wanted to say, but you saw him take a deep breath, and he said what he needed to say, right? Just overall has the whole package. Justin Marks has quite defined right there.
Yes, he does. Dale Jr.'s winning now. Justin Marks will continue to win in the future. Let's hear 88 radio with Zilic leading 77 to go.
That rain has done a little bit closer than.
I'm guessing
I'm going to
be okay with a big
I'm
shower.
going to agree this time that the rain is on its way. It's a little bigger cell than what we had last time. And it is going to rain sooner than later. And these guys, it's going to be fun to watch this, though, because depending on when the rain comes, if you wanted to try to pit on the short side of this to gain track position because of the lap time, do you stay out? Thinking for these leaders, you're going to have to stay out, knowing that that they can run probably 40 or 50 laps more on fuel. That's a long time here.
Yeah, I mean, our bumper's showing 76 to go, and I would say you can easily go inside of 40 to go before you have to make a pit stop.
See Kyle Seat going a lap down there. So, wow. Yeah, that's what really hurts. To try to save that set of tires, but you go a lap down, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter now. That's exactly right.
Lamar Scott now the last driver on the lead lap. He got the free pass at the end of stage 2.
Yeah, and in all fairness, we talked about Eric Almirola and the pace that he had kind of towards the end of the stages. I don't see it this time. And we're going to see as they get into traffic, but the 19 still, running in the top 3, but almost 2 seconds behind Connor Zilich. And as I look at the lap times, he's a little bit quicker, but it seemed like where he really gained was in the last 5 to 8 laps of those stages. So we got a little bit more time left, but it just seemed like the 19 maybe has the pace that he did his first 2 stages of this race.
I feel like the next 15 laps or so are going to show that hand of who's got it over the long haul. That's when we start drifting past where we were lap count wise in those first 2 stages. What do you have for us, Carla?
Today, your day is done. You felt a vibration. And what'd you learn about your car? What happened out there?
Good year break in our second Chevy. No warning within the same lap that I pitted in. Gave me the first vibration, and rear gear broke.
I hate that for Ross, not only because of what it means to him to try to go out and win in that 9 car, but the other side of that is just how good he is at this racetrack. Made his first Cup start here. And when you look at next gen stats on the Cup side, he's been really, really good at Dover. Connor Zilich lead, we're stepping aside with 72 to go.
Well, this is going to be interesting because we've got 71 laps to go here at Dover. Zilich is out ahead by 1.2 seconds over Eric Almirola still, as Almirola just made a pass on Brandon Jones for that second place position. And right as he's making the pass for second place, it's like caution flag is out on the speedway. I'll have to wait and see if this is for rain. Rain or lightning. Lightning means we automatically go into a 30-minute delay. Got about 2 hours of daylight left at Dover. 8:10 Eastern. If they were to lose the racetrack right now, I'd imagine that would put an end to the race, because I don't know that they could get this thing restarted and still finish the amount of laps they have left. We've obviously gotten past halfway, lap 132 of 200, so the race would be official. In the event of a storm to let loose, Connor Zilich has done a great job to this point as he tries to win on an oval for the second time this year, the second time in the last 2 ovals that we've ran. He won the most recent one at Pocono. He won the most recent race last weekend at Sonoma. And all of a sudden could be number 1 on the Xfinity Series win list this year with 4 wins on the season.
They move, sometimes they don't. This one's been on the fringe of us for quite some time, and you never know. I mean, some of the drops could be just being blown in here, not direct. If you look right above us, there's actually not any serious rain clouds right above. It's just over in the distance.
Yeah, and I'm with Denny. It's kind of dissipating right as it gets to the racetrack, so maybe we can get lucky right here.
6:10 Eastern time. Sunset here is 2 hours from now. And that's the window that NASCAR had set, for their darkness time. So if you get rain, last 10, 15, 20 minutes, it's going to take every bit of an hour to get this back dry. Yeah, it does dry. So, we'll see how NASCAR handles this. And I mentioned the sunset rule. It's something that NASCAR went to a couple of years ago. And anytime you can be fighting daylight at a venue that doesn't have lights, they give that drop dead time. And then, so here it's 8:10 Eastern. And once that time hits, leaders get 2 more laps, right? You run a lap, you get the white flag, and then the next time around, you see the checkers, no overtimes or anything like that.
Yeah, I think that happened at Loudon where We were all running. Then all of a sudden they said 5 to go, and we're like, wait, what? Race is over?
Yeah, we don't like surprises.
Free pass here goes to Leland Honeyman Jr., who's 29th. A couple spots up there in front of him. I see Sammy Smith had that speeding penalty, never made it back. He's 24th today. Been disappointing for him. William Sawalich continues in the top 10. Tough racetrack, and he's done a nice job.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks in a row. It's good. Been able to put it all together.
Eck's top 10 too, right? He got the 10th, and that's great for him and that race team.
Harrison Burton at 11th after what did look like it's going to be a very good practice. That's great.
He came in below the cut line by 16 points, did Harrison Burton, but he's 11th, and right now Jeff Burton is 20th, so he would pick up 9 points, and things would really tighten up at the cut line with Indianapolis coming next weekend. And you can see, and you heard on the radio, range picking up, and the windshield really taking on the percentage.
Yeah, I think these cars are going to be heading to pit road pretty soon.
Just got a report from NASCAR. They're going to bring the cars down pit road.
Oh, there you go.
I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I look at Connor Zilich, and the muscles that he's been able to flex on the road courses really have not surprised any of us, although last week holding off Shane Van Gisbergen is very, very impressive. But then you think about the win on an oval at Pocono. If he's able to come here in his first Xfinity start at Dover and deliver in the fashion he has, just another major statement by this 18-year-old who's checking box after box after box. I'm not promoting the race is over. I'm not saying it's done yet. But I think we have seen so far today that if rain gets us and he's the one that gets another checkered flag, a major statement will once again have been made. With cars coming down pit road, we will get a break in. 66 to go and a pause in the action. Mother Nature has intervened. And
Well, red flag here at Dover. Connor Zilich out in front of the field. We'll go through the full field leaderboard here while they're under the red. Zilich is the leader. Eric Almirola scored in second. Brandon Jones third. Justin Allgaier fourth. Jesse Love in fifth. Ryan Sieg sixth. Taylor Gray seventh. Sheldon Creed eighth. William Sawalich ninth. Christian Eck is 10th. Harrison Burton 11th. Sam Mayer 12th. Austin Hill 13th. Matt DiBenedetto 14th. And Carson Quapple 15th. Dean Thompson 16th. Jake Finch 17th. Ryan Truex 18th. Parker Retzlaff 19th and Jeb Burton 20th. Daniel Dye 21st. Raja Crew 22nd. Anthony Alfredo 23rd. Sammy Smith 24th. Brennan Poole 25th. Jeremy Clements 26th. Josh Williams 27th. LeVar Scott 28th is the last car in the lead lap. Leland Honeyman would get the free pass if we do get back to racing. He's the first car lapped out at 29th when the caution came out for rain. Ryan Ellis 30th. Kaz Gralla 31st. Blaine Perkins 32nd. Nick Light's 33rd, Josh Bilicki 34th, Garrett Smithley 35th, Kyle Sieg 36th, Nick Sanchez 37th, and I almost said Noah Gregson because I saw the 9 car and he hasn't driven that car in years. Ross Chastain 38th. And both Sanchez and Chastain have retired from the race almost 30 laps ago. Where we stand right now, we have 67 laps to go at Dover. It's our first caution for a non-stage end today. Still have not seen a caution for an incident since Chicago 2 weeks ago for the Xfinity Series. Have we had a full race today? Maybe. Honestly, if they lose the racetrack, I think NASCAR is going to call it. I feel like we know the NASCAR thing is that they're going to probably try to wait this out as long as they could, but I don't see us getting back underway if we lose the track completely. And with the cars already in the pits, I don't feel very confident that this is going to be a very brief hop up and gone in the next couple minutes shower either. Yeah, San Diego's already been confirmed for the NASCAR schedule for next year, so. San Diego Street Race, here we come, 2026. Maybe they stay in the Chicago market at Chicagoland Speedway. We'll have to wait and see when the schedule's announced. Once I see covers on the race cars, I'm going to get the NASCAR 08 race at Dover underway so we can get that finished while we have a rain delay going on right now, because in the event that we would get back to racing again, I don't want to wait to finish the race up after the race is over at like 8:30 tonight. So that'll bypass our time for the rain delay again, and I'll have my phone playing the race audio so that way I'll know exactly when they end up calling it. Not the race audio, but I'll be able to see what's going on with the race as we're wrapping up our NASCAR 08 stuff. But again, waiting to see them come back from commercial here first, because I think NASCAR is going to wait this out a bit. When does the TV window close for this? 7 probably? Hit the wrong button. I'd assume 7:30. They might wait until then. Honestly. Maybe not all the way to 7:30. That seems a little too ludicrous when you consider that would only leave us 40 minutes of daylight left. We know the track's going to take about an hour to dry. That's what Denny Hamlin and Jamie McMurray already stated in the booth. 70 likes on the stream up to this point. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Take a quick break while we await the commercial to end. This is a never-ending commercial on the CW, by the way. BetRivers 200 continues here on KRC. One hour, 15 minutes, and 51 seconds is the amount of time that we've had some racing going on for here today.
For simple, smart savings on your prescriptions, check GoodRx. Toyota, let's go places. And by Credit One Bank, NASCAR American Express card. Red flag is out for rain. NASCAR Xfinity Series racing for the 20th time here in Dover, Delaware. Last couple of years, Ryan Truex has got it done. Rain impacted his victory here a season ago. So all got...
Well, they've got covers on the cars already, and the drivers are out of their cars at the moment. So we'll tune in for some NASCAR 08 action. And I will get Bob Pockers on X up so he can give me the official word when it is official, as well as getting the race up on my phone. I don't think they're going to wait a whole long time to call this, but I don't want to wait around at the same time either. We'll be here on the channel live, obviously, until they call it, but we'll also be live until we end up finishing the continuation of our NASCAR 08 race at Dover, which we started on the live commentary stream for practice and qualifying earlier, but again, that got rained out as well. So just a rainy day at Dover during the course of 2 live commentary streams. We get just over an hour of on-track activity for the course of these delays. With the drivers out of their cars, they're definitely going to have to get the jet dryers back out there again some point, even if the rain stops soon. So I'll pull that up on screen for you guys. Sure all the audio is going to be good to go. Oh, I'll blast your eardrums out like I did on accident earlier. At least there's no music that's playing in the background this time. Alrighty. Live commentary for tomorrow's Cup race will begin at 1:30 p.m. Eastern as well. For anybody wondering on our start time there, we'll have our usual pre-race show. I've got the broadcast on my phone, so whenever they call it official, I'll let you guys know. As we finish off our race here at Dover on NASCAR 08. I knew when I unpaused it, I was probably going to blow the first turn. It wasn't bad, though. On lap 320 of 400 at Dover from where we last left off. And we are leading. We still have to pit one more time in the race. Jeff Gordon's in second. Tony Stewart third. We're driving as Casey Kane for this season. The car frees up quite a bit as the runs have gone on. We'll wiggle that time getting into turn one. Just hold on for dear life. I'm in the fuel window to make it to the end, so if I see a caution, we'll definitely pit. And I'm sure the rest of the field will come in as well. We have 2 sets of tires left the rest of the way, so that's not going to be an issue. Still quite a few cars on the lead lap. We've only had 2 cautions in this entire race so far. We had 1 in the first race at Dover earlier in the season. I don't want to wait too long to pit. Gordon's probably going to be the first car to pit because he was the first to pit the last time. Been hard to pass not only for myself today, but for other drivers to get by us while we're leading. And I just clinched the most laps led, which is 10 bonus points under the old format as of this 2007 season where this game takes place. Tony Stewart looking to make a pass for second on Jeff Gordon. For second, he should have him cleared into turns 1 and 2. Okay, just making sure. I had to catch back up on my feed. I was behind. Oh, the game. Hang on. Is the game paused? My bad. I was racing the whole time and didn't realize it was frozen. You guys have missed so much. You guys are probably wondering, what the heck are you talking about? I meant to have the visuals up on screen. Thank you for pointing that out in the chat. There we go. I didn't realize the screen was frozen. My bad. All right. I'll put a comment real quick in the chat as well, just to see here. NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Dover. Currently on weather delay. There we go. Now you guys can see what's going on with this with this race. I don't like that I paused it in the middle of the corner. That's not good. All right, don't wreck. Wow, I didn't wreck. I was scared. I was turning left before I unpaused it. I don't want to unpause it and then just go straight up the racetrack. Get back into rhythm again. Oh boy. A little free out of turn 2. I could probably go to about 60 laps left in the race on fuel, but I'd imagine cars will pit before that, knowing that the window's open to make it to the end. Like I said already, as soon as they hit pit road, I'm going to be pitting with. Game audio's too high. Oh, thank you for that. Apologize. Again. All right. Paused it in the middle of the corner again, too. That should be a lot better. Wanted to make sure I wasn't going to blow your eardrums out. So I left the game capture card on my software device that was running the streams, even in between streams and stuff, so it was all set up and ready to go. Only to find out that I was going to have to redo everything anyway. Yeah, sorry for any headphone listeners. That probably would have sucked. Locking Stewart down the back straightaway a bit. Oh, they're pitting. Oh! No! No! Oh, Tony into the barrels. I couldn't get into the pits. I was trying to outbrake him into the pits and he didn't let me in, and now the caution's out. Now we have a caution here at Dover. That was such a delayed yellow. Well, that was unique. As soon as I heard that they were pitting behind me, I tried to late brake. Oh my, Tony was just sitting on the racetrack and NASCAR didn't throw a caution for it. What the? Where was race control on that one? He's just sitting in the middle of the racetrack and poor Mark Martin hit him. Nowhere to go. Third caution of the race. He's probably going to be mad at me for knocking him into the barrels, but to be completely honest, he hit me. Yes, I was late breaking into the pits, but he was not letting me in. He did not want to let me pit there. It's like, no, screw you, and he ended up hurting himself. I wonder if he's still in the race. I mean, his car got destroyed. There were some cars on pit road when the caution flag came out because the yellow was so late, so I don't think we're going to be the leader anymore. Whoever got to the commitment line, which I'd assume Jeff Gordon was one of them. Well, no, Gordon was just on pit road. Well, now we got a slow stop. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So there's definitely a couple cars that stayed out that are going to be good to the end. That was a perfect timing caution for them. I don't know where I'm going to be. We're in second. Apparently, green flag back in the air. I don't know how the field's jumbled up. Somehow Dave Blaney's leading here at Dover. What an upset this would be if Dave Blaney wins. I don't think he's going to hold on. Oh, wow. Lane closed up. Stuck on the outside. All these lap cars underneath us. Don't think I'm going to be able to get to the bottom there either. Joe Nemechek. Let's get tight up in front of us. Still in second. I don't know how many cars are on the lead lap or what has happened here. Might have tagged Dale Jr. just a bit. Caution. Right when I got to the bottom, then the caution comes out again. Well, we had 2 yellows the whole race, then we got a couple of them back to back. Apparently Dave Blaney's got damage, and he's still out there. He hit pit row, but he didn't want to repair damage so he could win the race out of pits. Jeff Gordon won the race off pit row, but I don't know where he's at. I haven't had a good look at the leaderboard yet because of the restart being as wacky as it was, and I was just trying to get to the bottom. More worried about seeing where I was on the track. This is going to turn into a weird race the rest of the way. And there's definitely a lot of cars on the lead lap still. I just don't know where Jeff Gordon was. Plus, he was a lap down and then unlapped himself by winning the race out of the pits. See if we can have a better restart this time. There we go. Bottom of the racetrack. I was clear of Blaney initially. Now we're clear off turn 2. Lap car Joe Nemechek got back out in front of us. We're in a good spot now. Caution's out. I just ran my fastest lap of the race right before that. More debris off Dave Blaney's car. Wonder how many other cars have damage in the same circumstance. Well, I said we had about a half hour of the race left, but that was if we stayed green. Cautions are breeding cautions here. And 2 yellows for over 300 laps, and then we get 3 of them in the span of about, what, 15 to 20 laps there, if that. Did not take long. I believe Dale Jr. got the second right before the yellow flag waved. We're going to be on the front row for the restart. Try to get to the bottom here. Almost spun myself up. Clint Boyer's front bumper, and Dale Jr. is going to get to the outside. Lean on him. We're good. I almost blew it. We're good. Pandemonium everywhere. You can tell it's an intense battle for the championship with 9 races to go on the season. My goodness. Want to win this thing so bad. Led the most laps. .49 laps to go. Dave Blaney's back into second. I don't know how he got by, well, probably got by Dale Jr. when I ran him up the track. I now want to lose the lead. I know how hard it is to pass. Dave Blaney's got damage, so if he, for some reason, got back in front of us after all that, I feel good about passing him. Ran my fastest lap of the race again, 20.912. Kind of blew the corner down into 1 and 2 this time. Blaney was there and tilled the block. Kevin Harvick's up right behind Dale Jr. And a lift right off the exit of turn 4. I'm driving terribly right now. Another non-chaser. Yeah, about exactly 90 minutes of daylight left at Dover. Tied the fastest lap of the race. 20.912 the last time by. Well, you can tell I'm pushing hard because I'm running the fastest laps I have the whole race. .848 that last time by. Dale Jr. cycling back in the field just a little bit. .848 is stupid fast at this racetrack. We're running Martinsville times on a 1 mile track. But I'm not pulling away either. .832. Wonder how bad the fall off's gonna be the later portion of this run. Dale Jr. sneaking to the inside. Big block by Casey Kane as we hold on. Back up the entry to turn 3 just a little bit more. Still got 37 laps to go. Tied our fastest lap of the race. I'm doing everything I can to try to hold on. But Dale Earnhardt Jr. is there. A little contact. Now I'm getting freight trained. These guys are ridiculously quick. I got log jammed right behind David Gilliland. Gilliland's one of the chasers. Teammate Elliott Sadler's up there. Got him back into second. 35 laps to go. Smack in the wall. Looking for a pathway around Dale Earnhardt Jr. Closed off. Power slide out of turn 2. Got to run off turn 4. Still there. Got him that time. Oh! Slid up a little early. Lock him. We're good. We are good. Back out in front. 32 to go. Wasn't a clean pass, but it was a pass. I like the fact that this pack is just not spacing out whatsoever. Try to squeeze him a little bit. Dale Jr. out in front again at Dover. 29 laps to go. Little leanage. I don't think Dave Blaney's going to put as much pressure on me for the lead. I'd like if he can get by Dale Jr. for second. Got a slow car that just blew an engine trying to make it into the pits. David Reagan in the 6. He was in the top 5 for a brief moment earlier in the race. Dave Blaney did get into second, so that's helpful for us. Sadler is still in 4th behind Dale Jr. It's our teammate, 25 laps to go. Xfinity race has not been called, by the way, at this point, so this race might end up getting done before the official word on what's going on there. Obviously, we'll get back to that coverage immediately following the finish of this NASCAR 08 race that we started during live commentary earlier today to bypass time during practice and qualifying coverage. We got through all but about the last 20 laps or so as I nailed the wall again. Out of turn 2 that time. Still okay. Dale Jr. was in second. I think he would have pounced on me there, but Dave Blaney's got so much damage on the front of his car, I don't think he's got anything for me. He's helping me out just by running where he is. Longer Dale Jr. stays behind him, I think that's the better chance we have. Dale's going to be tough to keep away. We just sustained more damage throughout the course of the 400 miles today than Dale Jr. I mean, that's what it boils down to, because he wasn't in contention for the win really all day. Had that contact with Tony Stewart, led into a few cautions there coming into the pits. Had a little other damage with David Stremme real early in the race too, which is why there might have been some right side damage on the car even earlier than that. Blaney swinging wide through 3 and 4, 19 laps to go. Plenty good on fuel to the end from when everybody last pitted during that last caution. Some pitted before that. But Dale Jr. back into second. And he's our biggest foe when it comes to this race win battle. I'm ready to make this thing wide if I have to. Who was it? Marcus Smith earlier in the week that said something about they were looking at possibly putting a dome on Bristol? A little free out of turn 2. "15 laps to go." Yeah, I got free out of turn 2 again. How about David Gilliland in third? I'm curious to see where he's going to be in points at the end of this race. I think he had a top 10 at New Hampshire in the first race of the chase also. Jeff Gordon's back to 26th after being in contention for the win for most of the day. Looking to see where Tony Stewart's at. I don't even know if he's in the race anymore, honestly. He might have DNF'd after that hit from Mark Martin. Oh, David Gilliland just passed Dale Jr. for second. David Gilliland looking for his first career win today. 3 wide for third, up off turn 2. I don't know who's in the middle. Well, Dale Jr. is on the outside. Dave Blaney down on the bottom. It's Elliott Sadler, the 19 car, still up in the top 5. So 11 laps to go, and David Gilliland might have a shot at Casey Kane down the stretch. Ten to go. I don't think Gilliland's as strong as Dale Jr., though. Gilliland going to get passed by Dave Blaney. I kind of want Dave Blaney to finish second as a Blaney fan myself. As beaten and battered as his car is. He must have picked some damage up from the Stewart incident or something. Eight laps to go. Dale Jr. got by David Gilliland through 1 and 2, and he's quickly going for second after Dave Blaney. Dale's not out of it yet. Casey Kane trying to go for back-to-back wins. Looking for number 13 on the season. 2 for 2 to start the chase. It's vastly different from the fuel mileage race I had at Dover earlier in the season. A few more cautions. We only had 1 in the first race here. We've had 5, although 3 of which coming in these final 60 laps. Five laps to go at the line. Kane and Jr. putting some separation on everybody else. Back behind us. Got to not give him an opportunity to really get underneath us. It's one thing to leave the bottom open if I can close the door, because kind of floating the corner entry up a little bit isn't necessarily hurting me as long as I don't go way up the racetrack. Can get away with kind of slightly diamond cutting the corner off. Kind of like I did right there through 3 and 4. Go to the middle groove. I just don't want to go too wide. 3 to go. It's easy to go too far wide if I overdrive the entry. Last lap situation, I'm doing whatever it takes to win this race. I'm telling you guys that right now. I'm not losing this thing. We led way too many laps. He hasn't had a real chance to pass us, though, anytime since he's gotten into second the most recent time. Well, Dale kind of slightly slid up the track through 3 and 4. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go for Casey Kane at Dover. Going for the Dover sweep just like we did at Loudon. 1 mile racetracks, there's 4 of them on the schedule. We're going to go 4 for 4. Of the 13 wins on the season now for Casey Kane, checkered flag is waving, and Kane is a winner at Dover. Let's go, baby. It wasn't the most perfectly executed race, but we executed enough to get the win. Let's go. Over the course of 2 streams, we got the race win today. In a unique facet. There we go. Go over the finishing results here, and then we'll get back to the regular live commentary schedule because they have not called the race up to this point, so we will still keep the stream going. Started on the pole, I led 243 or 400 laps today. That's why I was so determined to get the win. With Dale Jr. battling me, and that's why I was making contact with him there that last restart. The one time he got by me, and then he almost got by me another time. I was leaning on him. I did not want to let this race slip away. Knew we had the pace. We could just keep the car out in front, as we did. Dale Jr. finishes in second, though. He led just 6 laps, most of those late in the race. Our teammate Elliott Sadler finished in third. Dave Blaney, my guy, led 6 laps, finished fourth. Most of those were on that last restart because he restarted in the lead. David Gillen, top 5 and 5th. Great run. He's one of the underdogs in the chase. Ken Schrader, another underdog in the chase. Finishes 6th. Quiet, solid day for him. Kevin Harvick ended up 7th. Casey Mears 8th. Ricky Rudd 9th. Tony Raines rounds out the top 10. What a weird top 10, by the way. A lot of guys who you usually wouldn't think would be up there finished there. Tony Stewart led 101 laps today. Got in that wreck. I was trying to beat him into the pits. He wasn't letting me in. And then he ended up in the barrels. And, finished 11th still. I thought he was out of the race because his car got killed by Mark Martin. Let's see. Jimmy Johnson didn't have a good day. Finished 19th, one of the chase drivers. Jeff Gordon, 26th, led 21 laps. I'm surprised he didn't lead more because he was in the top 3 almost the whole race. Was definitely in contention for the win, but I think he got screwed over by the timing of that last caution. I almost wonder, the only other thing I could think of is maybe because he came down on the pit road when we did, is there a chance that when the caution came out, he didn't get to the commitment line yet, and then he pitted? And that might have ended up giving him a penalty as to why he was on the tail end of the field in the restart, because he won the race out of the pits. So he had to have had a penalty, I would assume, which is why he restarted tail end of the lead lap, because he only finished ahead of 5 other cars on the lead lap. Mark Martin had a lot of damage. He finished on the lead lap still, but couldn't keep up with everybody. Our other teammate, Scott Riggs, ended up 30th. So 31 cars on the lead lap at the end of this one today. Jeff Green, who was quick early, qualified 7th, led laps early, 23 laps led, 3rd most in the race actually. And he DNF'd just before halfway. Jamie McMurray blew an engine, Kyle Busch blew a motor, Kyle Petty blew a motor. We saw David Reagan blow a motor late. So 5 DNFs total. 10th of a second margin of victory, 141.29 mile per hour average race speed, 2 hours 41 minutes 51 seconds. Total time of the race, 22 lead changes, 5 cautions. And I'll take a look at the point standings before we get out of here. Well, we're not getting out of here completely. We still got live commentary to go on at Dover, where they have barely over an hour of daylight left. 8:10 is the cutoff time tonight for the Xfinity Series race. So next race at Kansas, 400 miles. Probably looking at Monday for that one. Unless for some reason we have more rain delay coverage to kill tomorrow during the Cup race at Dover. See here, 180 points out of Tony Stewart now after he finished 11th today. David Gilliland, 3rd in points. What a miracle season for Robert Yates Racing. Jeff Gordon is 4th. Ken Schrader, after pulling off a 6th-place run, he's 5th in points. Johnson slides back to 6th. Ryan Newman 7th. Martin Truex Jr. 8th. Dale Jarrett 9th. Michael Waltrip 10th. Matt Kenseth, Bobby Labonte. Round out our chasers. Our teammate Elliott Sadler, after finishing 3rd today, is now up to 13th in points. Kyle Busch at the DNF fell back 3 spots to 16th. He was in 13th. Alrighty. I'll get the raw feed back up on the screen. Felt like I had something crawling on me again. That was an eerie feel. Whoa. It's moving the wrong screen over. Covers are still on the race cars at the moment, but they have not called anything. TV window ends at 7:30. I feel like that's a lot of the reason why they're waiting this out. But I'll get that up for you guys shortly. I gotta save this real quick before I turn my PS2 off, then I'll get that up and running. Well, right now I do have the raw feed back up and running, so there's that. Not sure exactly how long the red flag has gone on for. The finish of our race probably took a good 40 minutes or so. The caution flags. Get those last 80 laps in. Thank you for everybody staying tuned in. Looks like they just called it, actually. Yeah, they just called it. Well, that didn't take very long after the finish of our NASCAR 08 race. I'm trying to get the interview for you guys so you don't miss it live. Just getting the race broadcast on. Connor Zilic, your race winner at Dover. Here he is, as the race has been called for rain.
From some of your competitors, I know you wanted to finish this under green flag conditions, but man, a stage 2 win, 77 laps led, 4th win of the season. What can't this team do?
Yeah, I mean, we've been showing it lately. It's first of all, I hate that we couldn't finish the race the right way. Eric was really fast and was going to give me our run for my money. So, props to him for being there and making me work for it. But still really proud of this. Thanks, Justin. Still really proud of this junior motorsports team. Our Carolina Carports car. It feels so good to win with the Carolina Carports car again. We were really good at Martinsville and couldn't get it done. And our car was as fast as Xfinity Mobile today, and we capitalized on all fronts and had good pit stops both stages and put ourselves in a position to be in the right spot when the rain fell. So very thankful. But yeah, like I said, wish I could have finished this one out, but still feels to get our 4th win. Feels good to get our 4th win of the year.
And you set yourself apart with that 4th win. Have you legitimately started to think about yourself as a championship contender?
I mean, we've known that we've had a shot at it all year long, and we've known the speed was there, but it feels good to finally be getting these wins and these good finishes. We just got to keep it going, though. I mean, it's still a long season left in front of us, and still a long way to go, but it certainly feels good to get our 4th win this early in the year.
And finally, at Pocono, you joked that your team told you hadn't won an oval because Pocono's a triangle. What do you have to say to them now?
Hey, they got nothing against me now, so I've won on a full corner track, which that's a first for me, so I'll take it.
There's a win here at Dover.
You know, if he had led 10 or 12 laps and won with the rain, I would apologize. When you lead 77 laps and you win a stage, there's no need to apologize for winning. This kid is just special.
I was thinking the same thing. It's no fluke. He was up front the entire second stage, won the second stage. Yeah, would we have loved to seen an 88? I was looking at the lap times, watching them on the track. They were so equal. It's going to really be hard for one to pass the other. I think we got the rightful winner here.
Yeah, Mother Nature is undefeated. Always comes out on top. And I'm with you guys. Like, Connor's just done such a good job. We showed his last 7 races. He continued that again today. I'm telling you, we're going to one of the biggest races that he'll get to run next weekend, being at Indy at Brickyard. To get to go into that with having momentum, I'd fully expect to see the same thing from him next weekend.
Youngest driver to reach 5 career wins, surpassing Kyle Busch. Youngest driver to win back-to-back in the Xfinity Series, won last.
Dale Jr. with a beer in hand, working his way down pit road. Looks like he's got a Busch Light in his hand. Connor Zilisch, our race winner today. We're going to finish things under caution. We'll go through the finishing order here again quickly before we end the stream. Zilisch, after winning the race, leads 77 laps out of 134 that were completed. He also won stage 2, so 6 playoff points on the day for him. Eric Almirola finishes in 2nd, Brandon Jones 3rd, Just Allgaier 4th, Jesse Love rounds out the top 5 in 5th. 6th for Ryan Sieg, Taylor Gray 7th, Sheldon Creed 8th, William Sawalich 9th, Christian Eckes finishes out the top 10. Then Harrison Burton at 11th, Sam Mayer 12th, Austin Hill 13th, Matt DiBenedetto 14th, and Carson Kvapil 15th. Dean Thompson 16th, Jake Finch 17th, Ryan Truex 18th, Parker Retzlaff 19th, and Jeb Burton 20th. Daniel Dye 21st, Raja Karut 22nd, Anthony Alfredo 23rd, 24th for Sammy Smith, Brennan Poole 25th, Jeremy Clements 26th, Josh Williams 27th, LeVar Scott 28th, Leland Honeyman 29th, Ryan Ellis 30th, Kaz Grala 31st, Blaine Perkins 32nd, Nick Lights 33rd, Josh Bilicki 34th, Garrett Smithley 35th, Kyle Sieg 36th, Nick Sanchez 37th, and Ross Chastain rounds out our 38-car field. The 2 DNFs today. And then we had 28 cars finish on the lead lap, 4 lead changes, 3 cautions, 1 hour, 15 minutes, 51 seconds is all the racing we got in today before the rain. 18 laps spent under yellow, some of which obviously right before the end of the race when they brought the cars onto pit road after a couple of yellow flag laps prior to the rain. And the only cautions today of the 3, the rain yellow here in stage 3, and then the 2 stage break cautions at lap 45 and lap 90. Pretty straightforward race in this one. And again, congratulations to Connor Zilisch for winning his 5th career Xfinity race, 4th of the season. He now has the most wins of any Xfinity Series driver in 2025. We'll be back again tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 p.m. Eastern for NASCAR Cup Series live commentary coverage of the Cup Series 400-lap, 400-mile race at the Monster Mile at Dover. Thanks for tuning in and staying tuned in throughout some lengthy streams today when it goes by way of the rain. Hopefully we have much more racing content for you on the channel and don't have to break out the NASCAR 08 tomorrow like we did a couple of times here today with the rain delay earlier in the first stream, washed out completely. At least we got some racing in today with the Xfinity Series race. So my work not going to be upset with me that I'm calling off in the morning because I had to do a doubleheader. So I'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon. Have a good rest of your Saturday, everybody.